Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Roar Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Lara Sturm.
All right, welcome everybody to episode 15 of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast. We're off to a great start. I am Josh Rohr.
And I'm Lara Sturm. And welcome. So we're going to jump right into the song of the week, which is Winger, Miles Away.
Winger.
Go ahead, Josh.
So they were formed, Winger was formed in New York City. And after the release of their second album is when they kind of started getting popular. They went on a 13-month tour with some of the following bands. Kiss, which, as everybody knows, I love Kiss. The Scorpions, ZZ Top, Extreme, and Slaughter. So they toured with all of those bands for their second album.
Yeah, that's an awesome lineup. Can you imagine being like the New Kids on the Block and touring with Kiss and the Scorpions and ZZ Top? I mean,
so when you're saying new, you're talking about being the New Kids on the Block, not the actual band.
No, God, no. That's
okay.
That's nothing to do with this podcast in any way.
Just making sure.
But I mean, they were like all the rage, and then their careers kind of came to a screeching halt. Do you know what caused or may have caused their careers to nosedive?
I do not.
Beavis and Butthead.
What?
So they started with a big MTV following, right? And they got mainstream. They're on this big tour. They're, Heart of the Young. They're everything. They're critically acclaimed, getting all these awards. And Beavis and Butthead had a character that was kind of a dopey kid. And Beavis and Butthead always wore like AC/DC and Metallica shirts, right? This dorky kid that had the Winger shirt all the time. And then I think there's one show that they were talking about music videos, and they were talking about the Beavis and Butthead were talking about the Winger video being kind of like lame and mainstream, and you're kind of, stale if you are a Winger fan, and you're kind of safe. And right after that, their careers dried up, and the band actually semi-blames Beavis and Butthead.
So I didn't know any of that. And full disclosure here, I'm not really a big Winger fan. I just really like that song. So I love that I throw this out there at you and you know all these facts about it. That's great.
There you go. Yeah, Beavis and Butthead. There's a couple of there's another artist that had a career-changing moment from MTV as well, Billy Squier.
Oh, I love Billy Squier.
I did
Everybody
too.
Wants You, The Stroke.
Oh, great artist. And he was around, and then he'd like poof, gone, right? And there was this one music video that he did that tanked his career.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, don't watch it. It's horrible. You'll want to unsee it. Yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna have to watch it at some point now.
Yeah,
that's like saying,
memorable.
That's like saying, hey, this concoction I cooked up tastes terrible. You got to try it. Well, of course you're gonna try it. You can't just hear that and like not be curious.
Have you ever had someone say to you, taste this milk, it's so sour. It's awful.
Yeah, I try it every time. I have problems.
Clearly. All right, let's talk powerlifting.
All right.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, so today being Friday, October 16th, this is the 4-year anniversary of the creation of Primetime. So 4 years ago today was day 4, Sunday, of the 2016 USA Powerlifting Raw Nationals in Atlanta. And actually it's probably, so we're full disclosure, we're recording this on Thursday. And it's currently like 5:30 p.m., which is roughly the time that the final Primetime session was ending. So what we thought we'd do is just kind of go over some of the we'll do some of the memories that we have, but I want to run down the list of all the lifters that competed there. That's not true. We're not going to go through
Not all of them.
We're going to list the open national champions, and just see kind of who was the champions at the time, and of those names, kind of who's still around. So we'll start off. I'll read the ladies. Lara, you can read the guys. So in the 47 kilo weight class, the national champion in 2016 was Heather Connor. I think that's kind of where she really burst onto the scene. 52 kilo was Marisa Inda. 57 kilos, one of my favorite female lifters, Jennifer Millican. She came down from Tennessee. She did her first USA Powerlifting meet, I believe, at our Georgia State Championship in 2015, I think. And she kind of beat, well, this is a side note, but she beat the reigning national champion at the state meet. And we're just looking at her like, who the heck is this girl? Like, she needs to go to nationals. So she ended up going to nationals. And the next two lifters I mentioned were kind of the favorites for the best overall female lifter. So 63 kilos was Jennifer Thompson, and 72 kilos was Kim Walford. And Jen Millican at 57 actually won best overall lifter that day. So, well, that weekend, I guess.
I do remember a really funny video that you did with Jennifer Thompson filmed at her house, where you were talking shit. I
don't ever do that.
No, never. To kind of, I mean, it was staged. We know that. So she knew, but kind of stirring the pot, saying that Kim Walford was going to beat her, and she pushed you into the water. It was at her house in the dock. That was epic.
Yeah. So that was, yes, that was staged, but that was my actual prediction. And I was wrong. And Jen was legit upset with me. So for picking Kim over her. But anyway, Jen Millican showed up everybody, I guess. So also, what were you going to say?
That's pretty darn respectable.
Yeah. So also lifting on that Primetime platform at 84 kilos, the national champion was, I'm not going to name this person's name. Everybody can look up and see who she is. The reason I'm not going to name her name is because I'm not mad at her. I'm just very disappointed. The reason being, I probably shouldn't say this. It's probably going to get me in trouble. But I was mad for a while. The reason being, after this person won the 84 kilo class, they filed a dispute with PayPal to get their entry fee money back, and won because PayPal, without going through all these crazy steps, sides with the buyer. So long story short, she competed, won the national title, and then about a couple weeks after the fact, filed a dispute, got her money back, and then never answered my emails, Facebook messages, or anything. So if you know this person, tell her that I am upset with her, and tell her to answer and return my messages.
From 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, I kind of forget. So obviously, until I put this list together, I actually kind of forgot about it. But, back when it first happened, I sent multiple emails, multiple messages, and never heard back, and then just kind of, forgot about it. I didn't really forget about it, but I'm just like, you know what? I don't have time to keep chasing this person down. So anyway.
You obviously didn't forget about it.
Oh, I didn't forget. I never forget. Anyway, so that's the fun story there. So if you know this person, they're dead to me. No, that's not fully true, but kind of. 84 plus, the national champion was Bonica Brown. So a lot of those names on the female list, we are still very competitive. The only one that hasn't really been competing is that one that I didn't mention. So,
right.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So on the men's list, we have 59 kilo Bill Tenerelli, which I have to admit, I'm not familiar with Bill. 66 kilo class. I'm sure I was putting on a great show. I was kind of busy that day with lifters and volunteering and a bunch of stuff. McHoney. Did I ever say that right?
No.
K-Mac. K-Mac. That's all I know.
I love K-Mac. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too. He's awesome. 74 kilo, Taylor Atwood. 83 kilo, John Haack. 93 kilo, Jesse Norris. 105 kilo was Bryce Lewis. Remember that. 120 kilos was Tony Harris. And 120 plus kilo, and I remember this very vividly because it was such an epic moment, Ray Williams with his 1,005-pound squat, which was the first raw squat that broke the 1,000-pound record. And I remember all of the spotters gathered around him, like, if this squat was going to go wrong, they were just in big trouble.
please don't miss.
Like, what are they going to really do? Hope he wouldn't miss it by much,
Yeah, and he killed it. So
yeah,
he kind of left no doubt there. But some of the things, I guess some of the other things, and just what we're going to do is put the links to those 4 primetime sessions. There was the meet started on Thursday and ended on Sunday. I'm going to put the link to those 4 YouTube live stream videos from those 4 primetime sessions in the description, so you guys can go back and watch it. And you know what? I'll try and find that video of Jen Thompson throwing me in the lake too.
You should. That was awesome.
I'll put that in there. But some of the things I remember, a lot of these. So Arian Kamisi actually posted a picture of me on his Instagram today. It was a shot that he took of me like sleeping in the back. Like I fell asleep in the chair. It was the first day. I think the picture was from the Thursday, which was the first day. And I had basically gotten, maybe 2-3 hours of sleep for the previous like 4 or 5 days. Just getting everything set up and making sure everything was working and all that stuff. And anyway, that was kind of a fun flashback. So I feel like I probably missed a lot of the moments because I was working behind the scenes and or taking a nap. And I thought one of the cool things that, at least from my standpoint, that happened too was this is actually nothing to do with running or with the lifting itself, but Mike Zawalinski was there kind of as the scoring manager, and he saw me just like falling asleep, almost like standing up multiple times. And basically he kicked me out of the venue. I'm the meet director, and he kicked me out of the venue, and he said, go to the hotel room and sleep for an hour, turn off your phone. He's like, I'll take care of everything. If we need you for any reason, I'll come get you. But if you come back before an hour is up, like, I'm going to be pissed. So, and to be honest with you, that was everything, because I was literally about to die. So that hour of sleep, kind of got my second wind and got to enjoy the meet a little bit. So Mike, if you're listening, I appreciate that. Lifting wise though, all of those lifters we named were those were the national champions. There were still a lot of lifters that were we know their names now, but they were kind of still up and coming at the time. One of those just off the top of my head was Sam Calhoun. She ended up third in the 63s that year, and I think she finished like 50 kilos behind Jen Thompson, and now she's the top dog. So pretty cool. Another one is Daniela Mello. She actually got second in the 84s, and I think that was kind of her first big meet, and we all kind of know who she is now. She's up, totaling something that nobody has ever totaled before. So pretty crazy stuff there. Let's see, on the guys' side, that was the year that Jesse Norris missed his first 2 deadlifts and had to come back on his 3rd attempt to beat Dave Ricks. So
That's ballsy.
Yeah, it was. And that was just really an epic, I guess, live stream primetime moment was, and I don't know, to this day, I don't know if the referees did it on purpose or not, but after he pulled it, he was the last deadlift of the day. There was probably like a 4 to 5 second delay before the lights came on. So everybody in the crowd, it was standing room only, basically is just like hush quiet. And then the lights come on and everybody just goes ballistic.
So did it come down to he was either going to get first place and beat Dave Ricks, or he was going to bomb out at the meet?
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't remember that either.
It was crazy. Like I remember that moment.
I think I remember Dave Ricks lifting because he would always wear those awful shoes. He always had these like squishy looking sneakers. I'm like, how
basketball.
Do you deadlift?
Yeah, basketball shoes.
Yeah. I think he changed for a little bit, but now he's changed back, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, he's Superman. After a while, you just go, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
If you want to lift in a tutu, you should just do that.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter for him. And then one of the other things was that meet Dennis Cornelius lifted at super heavyweight. So he actually went head to head with Ray Williams. So that was kind of a cool battle just to kind of see. He wanted to kind of see, I believe his goal was to, I can't remember his total, but he wanted to try to break like the all-time world record at weigh in 275 or less, which is the reason he kind of went up at that weight class or at that meet and had a pretty big meet. So one of the fun things I was looking back through the record books, there were a lot of open American records broken that weekend. And I just went back through the records and there is not one remaining open American record from 2016 Raw Nationals. And that blows, not one. And that blows my mind. Wow. Like some of those lifts that we saw that weekend were just crazy. I mean, like you mentioned Ray's, I mean, we obviously all know that Ray squatted more than 1,005 since then, but you know, at the time there were a lot of people thinking that might be like there forever, you know, and then obviously Ray went on to break that multiple times again, but those were some of the cool memories. I still go look at that bar I have in the corner. I have the bar from the first Primetime session or the first meet of Primetime that Ray autographed. So all those lifters that I named, they all lifted on this bar, and then it was signed at the end of the meet by Ray. And then I still have the backdrop that was on the Primetime session, the Primetime platform for the whole weekend too. So maybe when we get to like the 10-year anniversary, we'll do something special with them. But right now we're at the 4-year anniversary, so this is as far as we'll go. That
was a cool year. I do remember. Boy, that was an interesting meet for you to put on. I remember it being at Nationals and you getting phone calls from the hotels. The hotel had decided to remodel the ballrooms and such that you were going to have the meet in. Like, yeah, that's fine. You can just go somewhere else and have this meet. And you were like, no. And there was lawyers involved and yeah, things that you don't really hear about.
Yeah, I've blocked a lot yeah,
I remember that, and I was traumatized for you.
Yeah, so basically what had happened was it was probably, what do you think, 3 months out? I don't remember exactly the time frame, but
we were at Nationals, I remember, and that would have been in May, right?
June, July, August, September. So it would have been 5 months out.
Yeah.
So 5 months out, yeah, we were originally supposed to have the 2016 Raw Nationals at a hotel in downtown Atlanta, and they had a really big ballroom. Not quite the size of the venue that we ended up using. So at the end of the day, we ended up, on the positive side. But anyway, they contacted me and said, hey, we're going to do renovations. Basically, your contract with us is void, so you can find another. You're free to find another location. And this is 5 months out. And we had already, this contract and everything was done about 2 years out. And we had made all these arrangements and, planned for this venue. And, the amount of work that goes into this was crazy. So I'm freaking out. And basically went and met with the hotel and they're like, there's nothing we're going to do. We're releasing you from the contract. And I'm like, well, I'm not releasing you. Like, you signed this contract saying you would provide this venue, and there's not many venues of that size, et cetera. So long story short, yeah, like you said, lawyers got involved, and, this is all while trying to still plan this event. So it was just a lot of added stress, but at the end of the day, we were able to work things out, and, luckily we were able to work things out that we were able to keep the meet in Atlanta and put on a very, very good event, I thought.
It was really good. It ended up being a huge space that it was in. Was it at the Mart or something?
Yeah, it was called America's Mart in downtown Atlanta, and it was a 55,000 square foot ballroom. So, we ran 5 platforms over 4 days, and then we had a really, I guess, one of the things that a lot of lifters, their biggest, I guess, compliment of that was the warm-up area. We had it spaced out, so there was 15 warm-up platforms, but they were all 10, 15 feet from each other, so there was just a massive amount of space for people to roll out, stretch, do all their dynamic warm-up stuff without being on top of each other. So
Which is important.
yeah, so
that was awesome.
Yep.
Memories.
Memories. And one of the other things that I wanted to, I guess, mention on the Raw Nationals side of it was, there's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that people don't see or whatever, but so the session ended on Sunday around 5, and we had to actually be out of that venue, like everything torn down, by like 7 a.m. the next morning. So yeah, it was brutal. And this is all at the time I could have probably booked it for another day. But that would have cost, a significant amount of money. And I was trying to put basically everything back into it. Like just some of the things, I guess, that happened at this meet for the first time. Like, it's the first time we had a live stream with instant replay. It's the first time we had first time we had like a sideline reporter. So like when people were coming off after big lifts, like we were interviewing them on the spot and just stuff like that. But anyway, so we ended up tearing down the night after, and there was a couple lifters that stayed and helped. And I know Jill Arno was there like till wee hours of the morning, and she went straight to her flight. But we're walking around like zombies loading this semi trailer, and I think I got out of there at like 5 a.m. or something like that is when we finally got done. So it's just, I don't know why I'm even talking about it. I guess some of these horrific memories of it that I blocked out are coming back. So,
Yeah.
But it was, all in all, it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of work, but just seeing the end product, I think was the positive. And I think that's, the Primetime was kind of born there. There was a lot of skepticism about it because it had never been done. And I think it really, was something that people really liked. And, it's kind of the thing now.
It's the standard. I mean, there's a lot of things that were kind of cutting edge for that meet that ended up becoming kind of the standard.
Yeah. And
groundbreaking.
And I'll be honest, like there's, people have taken it further. So, I mean, it's not like that's never been achieved again. I mean, we got those video walls and stuff now. Like, that was just something that we theoretically had wanted to do, but just didn't really have the technology or the ability to do at the time. And, now it's available.
All of that stuff probably wouldn't have happened if like you hadn't done it first, right? Like it kind of keeps building on each other. Like people stand on the shoulders of the person who came before them.
Yeah.
So you were the guy who did it, and then, kind of kept going, which I think was pretty epic.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say where it'd be. I mean, I think these things I think it was a natural progression. Like some of these things would have probably happened with or without, what we did. But I think, at some point somebody's got to do it. So, I guess.
So why not you?
So we did. And I guess that's history.
Yeah. I think I remember it pretty vividly because my husband was one of the people that was there with you for a good part of the setup. I don't remember the tear down, but I remember he was there. Yeah. After and
yeah, good old Dan Sturm, voluntold. Yeah, but he put together all the he put together basically everything that needed assembled. So yeah, there's so many people.
He built that podium out of cabinet grade wood in my garage.
Yeah, and so I still use that. So yeah, the podium we did awards on. He did it a little fancier than I was expecting, but it looks really good, and it's on wheels with the little handle. So we just kind of roll it in for awards at all the meets we do now. And yeah, it's super cool.
Well, it had to support, a 300-pound guy. So
yeah, well, 400-pound guy.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And like I said, some of those things we still have, like, and still use at some of the local meets we do. But
All right. So do you want to move on to the new lifter
Yeah.
tip, or have we extended our time just talking about this?
Well, we're going to hit our new lifter tips because we didn't get to it last week. So we got 2 of them that were posted from the Team Roar Instagram over the last 2 weeks. So I want to make sure we touch on those real quick. So tip number 1, basically the concept of 2 weeks ago we posted was just compete. And the caption was, waiting until you can break state records to compete is foolish. And the reason I say that is it takes a lot of experience and like learning the sport, knowing the environment and things like that. So a lot of people wait too long, in my opinion, to actually get on the platform. And I would say the number one, like not even close regret that most people have that I talk to is not starting sooner. So if you don't feel ready, if you don't think you're good enough, like I say, forget about all of that. Just get on the platform and compete, because you can't substitute experience.
I would agree. I would say too, as an athlete's rep, I used to get questions from people all the time, like, hey, this is, how old I am, how much I weigh, this is what I lift. Am I good enough to compete? I'm like, yeah. I mean, everyone is. Like, come in, start, do it, because the stimulus is different. It's not gym. It's a little bit different. It's awesomer.
And it's awesomer. And all you have to do to compete is be able to meet the standards, the referee standards, mm-hmm. like squatting below parallel, pausing on the bench, and honestly, the minimum weight that you have to do is 25 kilos, the bar with the collars. So, to that end, even there's some people that when they start lifting, they can't squat to parallel. Well, you can do a bench press only competition. So you can still, you can do a meet and not have to squat, but at least get into the meet so you can experience what it's like.
Yes. And then you'll get addicted and then never want to stop.
It's true.
Yeah. Experience is necessary. I like that point.
Yeah. It is because we said so.
Because we said so. Because it's different. It's not the gym. It's definitely different. So your other lifter tip of the day, if you have a heavy set at the gym and you need a spotter, ask someone.
I see a ton of people that post on their social media like, oh, I didn't have a spotter today, so went a little bit lighter. And then in the background of the picture, there's like 3 or 4 people working out. Well, go ask one of them. Like, worst case scenario, they say no. Like, I don't know. I don't understand that, I guess. And I think maybe it's an intimidation factor. Like, if you are a new lifter, you might, maybe you're embarrassed at the amount of weight you're lifting or something like that. But I view that as, I need to watch my words here. I don't think it should ever be embarrassing, because everybody starts somewhere. Like, when I started lifting, like, it's way, way less than what I, eventually was able to do. And, I get it that, if other people are lifting more or whatever, but as somebody that's been doing this now for over 20 years, like the reality is, like, we're always willing to help somebody. So if somebody is trying to max out with an empty bar, like, I'm happy to go spot them. And I don't even look at that as, anything less than, I guess. And I think some people view it that way.
Because it's the effort and it's the attempt, I think, is the noble.
Yeah. And you have to start somewhere. Like, so,
Mm-hmm.
I think, that's my recommendation. Don't be shy. Like, don't be afraid to ask people. Most everybody is going to be willing to give you a spot or, give you a tip if you ask for it or whatever. But, you just have to ask. And I guess I'll add to that, like, me personally, if I'm in the gym and see somebody working out, like, I'm not going to approach them and ask them if they need a spot, because I don't want to bother them, I guess. I don't want to interfere with their workout. And a lot of people might take that as offensive, like, oh, you think I need a spot or something like that. So I would much rather, as somebody that's working out in the gym or coaching or whatever, I'd rather somebody ask me, and I'd be more than happy to. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. But
yep, I would agree.
Cool.
Although I have had some guys in jorts and Timberlands and boots,
Did you say jorts?
Jorts. I remember there was a guy I was training, and I was in a different gym than my normal gym, and someone came up in jorts and Timberlands and was trying to give me advice on bench pressing and how I shouldn't arch, and I was just like, wow, just.
So here's my observation. This doesn't fully hold true, but if somebody approaches you unsolicited and starts offering you advice, chances are they don't know shit. So just kind of keep that in context. Like, I don't know what the point of that is, but there's a lot of know-it-alls out there that try to prove how good they are by acting like a know-it-all. Well, to me, that just kind of solidifies how much you don't really know.
Yes, if you're wearing jorts and Timberlands and boots
Yeah.
in the gym, you're probably one of those people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a dead giveaway too, but.
Not squatting. He was not squatting.
Yeah.
Hadn't done leg day in a while.
Yeah. Also a giveaway.
Every day is leg day.
Yeah. What's that? You might be a redneck thing. If your biceps, no, if your arms are bigger than your legs, you might be an imposter.
Yes. Might be a redneck if you're in the gym with jorts.
Jorts. Yeah. Cool.
With that, all right.
With that, we're gonna stop now. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and I guess all social media platforms at PL Ballads Podcast, and subscribe if you guys are listening. We would appreciate it, and definitely check out the links we're going to put in here. Go back and watch the first ever Primetime sessions. They're pretty awesome. And on that note, we will see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Bye now.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.